Do we got sound now? Let's see. We got sound now. I'm about to sound be tripping on me, man. Let's see. And good now. Okay, good. Cool. Y'all can hear me now, man. But yeah, like I was saying, wish humanity was just enough. But apparently we got individuals that love to have to prove to them why the thing you saying it matters. Specifically that we getting into the intersections of blackness and immigration. And how when you hear these white people talking about overturning birthright citizenship and you only think about the Latino people, that's when you start to understand that you lost in the sauce, and that when they start to come for you, you're going to be really ambushed and looking crazy and stupid. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see if this Nigel individual show up from Twitter. I think that he thought I was bullshitting. I think, I feel like a lot of people on the internet, when it comes to old consciously, you have a lot of your own different narratives you develop around who I am and what I am and how I move. And every once in a while, I think it's good to just go and show a person I can show you better than I can tell you, and just intellectually busting somebody's ass. You know what I mean? It's something unique about the foundational Black Americans and how they talk about banging the foundation of America when the foundation of America has never banged with them. And I always find it funny too, because you love to piggyback on and push on the American values, but you don't ever feel that way when it comes to their alliance with other European nations. It's like, if you start hearing them talking about birthright citizenship in this country, it's important to always point out what happened in the great Dred Scott decision and how the Dred Scott decision was overturned by the 14th Amendment. All these amendments are tied inextricably to the Black experience and to how Black people, you feel me, have always been codified within the law or not been codified in the law. It never added to me either. We gonna see, man. We're gonna make sure. I'm trying to make sure we live on Twitter. Make sure. Yeah, we live on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do me a favor. Matter of fact, let's see. Mr. Nigel right here. He gonna take in there to tell me he waiting. Like, man, that's the wrong thing to do with me. We gonna see. We gonna see, man. This individual right here. This old Nigel guy. You know what I mean? This Nigel guy right here. We're gonna see. As y'all can see, I dropped him the link. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna go from there. Well, we know that regardless of whether he show up or not, we know that the Black experience has shaped the understandings of birthright citizenship in this country. That's what we know. We know that when it comes to thinking about who is an American citizen based off of them being born here, we know that the 14th Amendment is what gave us birthright citizenship. The 13th Amendment is what freed the slaves. We know the 15th Amendment is what gave Black men the right to vote. I don't know what part of the FBA library is these people learning from, but somewhere along the line, these boys started to believe that because they was dropped off by the vote in America, because they had different white individuals that brought them in America, that makes them a little bit more important than the rest of the Black folks in the diaspora. And as a result, they engage in a lot of anti-blackness that says that I don't give a damn about a Jamaican, a Haitian, or a Nigerian, a Somalian. I don't care about them because they're not foundational Black Americans. And not only do they say it in a way where they feel like it's being clever, where they say we got to focus on ourselves and these type of things. Dr. John Henry Clark talked about how the difference between a Jamaican and a Haitian and a Black American is usually the where the boat dropped you off and or where they picked your Black ass up. So what I know about the slave Atlantic trade, you feel me, and what they call the Middle Passage, is that every single one of us that got to entry to the Western world, we got the entry to the Western world through, you feel me, the boat. And this boat was all predicated off us being of African descent, which takes me back to the Dred Scott decision. The Dred Scott decision is where Supreme Court justices literally decided that nobody of African descent was considered a citizen under the Constitution. Neither were they intended to. So now you got these different FBA guys, you know what I'm saying? I mean, as a matter of fact, let's see. Is this you right here? Is you right here? Oh man, we ain't talking about it. Now you have these guys that have batteries put in their backs, talking about the foundation of America, as if the foundation of America has not always already been anti-Black. And if this gentleman hops on this live stream tonight or today, this afternoon, I'm going to be intellectually busting his ass with using 2 pieces of legislation and talking about how birthright citizenship in this country, what they're talking about in immigration, is always already something about, you feel me, blackness and black people. So if you think that the precedent of birthright citizenship being overturned won't circumvent and have an impact on black people, you're smoking dope and dog food. And we're gonna check Twitter again. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna check Twitter again. I'm gonna check it live on us. Let's sleep, man. Because I don't think Buddy gonna show up. But I'm talking about I don't see you say you pull up. Where you at, Nigel? Where you at, man? Where you at, man? I got my phone right here. See, how I want this to go down is you show up, we have us a nice little, debate. You can pick whether I speak first or last. I think about 2 or 3 speeches to do it. We don't have to yell at each other. We ain't gotta speak over each other. All I ask is that when you speaking, you feel me? You make your arguments, and I'll respond to your arguments. And when I'm speaking, that you do the same thing. But we gonna see though, man. NLC, hey man, just somehow being the alien within is something that the foundational Black Americans just forgotten about. You know what I mean? And I say it as somebody that is born and raised in Bryan, Texas, with the same place my parents and my grandparents, you feel me, worked the plantation or with sharecroppers, is a place I was born and raised in. So all this, he'll tell you, listen, man, I don't subscribe to y'all values or y'all framework. And in this nice little old back and forth, I'm hoping to be able to illustrate why that's true. You know, we're gonna see, like, wait, what? Hey, I want y'all to see this in real time, man. Buddy asking where I'm at, bro. I'm sending you the live stream right here. Come get it. I'm live, Nigel. Granny said, if you stay ready, you ain't never gotta get ready. And it's just like, I don't, you know what I mean? I think say we gonna see. Yeah, I'll be at DreamCon or VidCon. I'll be at VidCon, DreamCon. I'm not familiar. I'm not. I think that's the black one in Austin. Let's see what it is, man. I'd like to know what's your perception on diversity in Africa. Not referring to white people as the progeny of the colonies, but the indigenous African people as well as Eastern peoples who are slaves and now can impact each group of the African ethnicities. I would have to ask, like, Khadijah, you can give me like a follow-up for that. I'm not sure what you got right there. It's in when is DreamCon? Like when is it? When is it? And y'all see, I don't think I'm talking about, buddy, where you at, bro? Like this shouldn't have to be. Don't tell I'll be at the top of the hour. Hey, I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this, man. I'm talking about this man hit me up 27 minutes ago and told me he was patiently waiting. He went from saying that he was patiently waiting almost 30 minutes ago to now he'll be here at the top of the hour. Like, I don't know what's going on. You feel me? Then you got people like the Black Receipt. What I figured out is just like in hood terms, man. When you get the busting on somebody's ass and they start calling in for retreat, they start calling in for backup and stuff, that's how you know you're on their ass. And what I know is that when it comes to the Black Indians and the FBA people, y'all always got to go tag somebody. Man, I'm going to get my big brother. I'm going to be, that's what it always come down to. You know what I'm saying? And this went on this. Making the insult and making the debate is 2 different things. Making the insult and making the argument is 2 different things. So you being able to get in, leave this unconscious, that's not going to, we need some arguments to be made. And what I know is that when we set this timer, you feel me, in the FBA, Nigel is not going to be able to speak over me, and he got to answer arguments. We're going to see what it really is about. I don't think we're going to see, man. We're going to see. Unfortunately for them, I stay ready, so I ain't never got to get ready. You feel me? And don't tell me you waiting on me, you patiently waiting on me, and now I gotta wait to the top of the hour. So now I gotta sit here and talk to myself to the end. That's funny. That's funny. I hope in this time, I hope in this 12 minutes, you feel me, of him getting ready to do this, that he's putting together his arguments on why immigration is not a black issue, and he's putting together his arguments on why Pan-Africanism is bad. I hope you don't get in here repeating the same speaking points he done said on Twitter for the past however many years he's been on there, or whatever he done said to the dudes he smoke blunts with or he drink beer with. Like, I'm not none of them. I'm not the little dude she be going back and forth with in the Twitter mentions, and I would never share anything with you feel me, outside of Twitter. So I hope that when he come prepared. I just happen to be somebody that really got a debate background. So I hope when he's coming in, you know what I mean, he understands the implications of law and understand the implication of how law sets precedents that black people tend to be disproportionately impacted by. You feel me? And just really just schools in session, education is elevation for y'all that's not watching right here. I'm about to like let me give you a little credentials, you know what I'm saying? Appeal to a little authority, as someone put it. Let me see if I switch to if I can't even hear me. I'm talking about no sound. We're gonna can you hear me now though? Is the sound in now? Sound in now. Because oh my, it's what I want to see now. Is the sound I'm talking about? Ooh boy. Nah, hey, listen. Just just like say, okay, NLC, I see. As soon as we push the cameras and win mute, so I guess we can't switch the camera up on them, man. I gotta have my technician come up in here. But what we know is that the world knows that if black people ever come together, the way in which they steal our culture and our resources and be able to prop up their home countries, that shit gonna cease to exist. So they gotta have individuals that get paid like the FBA to literally try to manufacture, you feel me, all type of division within the black community, especially in America, because they know that if niggas come together, if people of African descent come together, they recognize it's gonna wreak havoc on the world. So you gotta have individuals like the FBA that believes that because the boat dropped them off in America, or because somebody came from America and bought their ass on the boat and brought them to the America, they better. You feel me? They have to act like they white male counterparts and believe that because they are American, it's the best thing, sliced bread, and that they are always already more superior than other black folks because hey, they're American. I'm talking about Haitians, Dominicans, or Puerto Ricans, or Afro-Colombians, Nigerians. You feel me? Shit, Burkina. Listen. In this debate, I'm gonna be busting this man ass on 3 arguments. The first argument I'm gonna be making is about how citizenship, birthright citizenship, specifically in this country, is structured by the black experience. I'm going to be referencing Dred Scott and how the Dred Scott decision shows you that whether your black ass want to identify with being African descent or not, the rest of the world going to always view you that way. Within me talking about the Dred Scott decision, we're going to be getting into how birthright citizenship, or the word citizen, was never intended to be for black people. It is literally what the Supreme Court justices say in 1871 or 1861 when the Dred Scott decision is being handed down. Justice Robert Taney is his name. He says that literally the word citizen was never made for nor intended to apply to black people, people of African descent. Therefore, Dred Scott trying to claim he gets the privileges or the rights of the Constitution does not really transfer to him, because he is not the word. It's not intended for him. And this is what I love right here. If you cannot understand words that have 3 or 4 syllables, just say that. You don't have to engage in the type of pathology that the white folks engage in by talking about somebody is speaking babble. Just say you can't comprehend the argument and keep it moving. You ain't got to engage in none of the bullshit gaslighting at all, because it's being disingenuous. It's not really coming into the argument in great faith. But what I know is that anytime I go live and we have an audience, the FBA crowd never know where to be found. But I can make a little bullshit tweet. You see what I'm saying? A little bullshit tweet, and here come all other niggas with the red, white, and blue flag. Nowhere to be found. You feel me? I'm talking about they everywhere though. I'm talking about that. They'll be proverbially trying to jump me up in the comment sections, but you know what I mean, the mentions. But as soon as consciously go live, none of these red, white, and blue patriotic peons come nowhere to be found. They nowhere to be found ever. Swear to God, nowhere never be found. You feel me? I'm talking about never. Never, ever, 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 ever. You can get the biggest FBA, the smallest FBA. They ain't trying to see consciously though. They ain't trying to see me. Niggas can Wakanda forever. You can jam your Afro beats. You feel me? You can be Rihanna Navy. Hey, listen, man. When Rihanna left Barbados, it was more niggas still in Barbados. See what I'm saying? When you want to kick it and do all this dancing to Afro beats and all this, this is you celebrating the culture throughout the diaspora. Don't act like white people and try to celebrate the culture of the people and hate the people that make the culture. Don't do that. You see what I'm saying? Don't do that. You feel me? We got all of y'all that's literally so excited about watching the movie Sinners, and you have key points of this movie that was like in history that's always already tied to how we've retained different parts of us coming from that continent. So when you look at Michael B. Jordan, you know what I'm saying, the girl, and she got the lip, it's like, come on, man. It's like even cinema is usually influenced by realities and experiences and interpretations. So there's no way for you to bang and I'm an FBA. I'm a foundational American. Man, ain't no way in hell for you to talk that shit. And these white, the foundation of America view you as somebody with African descent. You know, you gonna love to go celebrate and do all the other shit that has to do with the diaspora. But then when it comes to politically, you wanna, they ain't us. They ain't us. It's like, man, hey, man. And just like the FBA coward in my comment section, the anonymous, I'm talking about. As somebody that's been a public figure, I use that term very loosely for the past couple of years with some social media visibility. You always had the individuals that I'm talking about, you got a penny hustle in your cloud chase. You feel me? Your cloud chasing ain't even legitimate because you don't even want to be what you about and say what you about and say what you mean and mean what you say. You really only looking to irritate. You act just like your white male counterparts. How can I manufacture controversy in a way to make people outraged and make them upset? I'm not looking for a real engagement. I'm not looking to learn nothing. I'm just looking to, you feel me? Into this one part right here. It's more FBA folks up in here too. So I shouldn't have to wait on Nigel. When y'all is taking numbers, you feel me, and getting in line in my mentions in X, y'all ain't gotta wait for one of your single for individual person at FBA. Y'all jump in. Somehow though, constantly that went live. Let's see shit. We got a couple hundred, we got 500 people here from Twitter. 500 people. And ain't none of you FBA soldiers up, you know what I'm saying? I'm just one man. I'm just one man. Just one, just old me. Telling you, man. Telling you, man. Then even this, even if you disagree with birthright citizenship legally being structured by the Black experience, even if you disagree with what precedent Dred Scott decision said, even if you disagree the 14th Amendment about birthright citizenship is about Black people, even if you disagree with all those things, you still got to be able to respond to my third argument about, hey, listen, man. So even if you believe that the Black immigrant populations is distinct from the, you know what I'm saying, native born Black American populations, can you account for how we are in proximity with each other? So if ICE comes into the neighborhood, you feel me, in New York, and they're looking for, let's say, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Haitians, and it's in proximity to a Black neighborhood, a Black American neighborhood, you don't think that the policing and the surveillance is going to also impact how niggas is living over there? So if you live in LA, you feel me? Let's say you live in Los Angeles, man. And let's say in your community in Los Angeles, it also lies in closeness and proximity to another immigrant population, another immigrant community. Do you think the justification of police presence in the immigrant community is not going to have no spillover to the Black community? Do we think that? Do we think that? So what I know is being somebody that's born and raised in Texas, when they want to try to come justify cross-applying immigration politics to the nigga communities, what they'll do. Hey, we hear that y'all in here, I remember what it was. Hey, we hear that y'all over here marrying Africans to give them citizenship. We need to go through your household, and we need to go through your documents to make sure that you have a legitimate, all your relationships is legitimate, and make sure either you're not in any relationships, or make sure you don't relationships with people kind of getting illegal entanglements, you feel me, to be legally making people citizens. It's just different, like, just different. Like, I'm talking about, you don't even gotta be a doctoral student, doctoral candidate. You don't have to have a master. You don't have to have it. It's just literally thinking about it. In general, who lives in proximity to Black people? Who? Other people of color. What is the likeliness of those other people of color either A, literally being an immigrant community, or B, having immigrants amongst their communities? A very likeliness. So you don't think that when they're talking about mass deporting immigrants, that your Black ass would not be codified in that one way or another? Finally, Nigel, you gonna cut the camera on for me, Nigel? Because, man, this took a long time, fam. Fam said, you ready? Is you gonna cut the camera on, Nigel, or is you more of a just are you gonna cut the camera on, or are you more of just an audio person?
Yo.
What's
good, Conscious?
Let's get it going, man. Let's get it going. We've waited long enough.
Yes, sir. I want to give you your time, get your little opening monologue off. You feel me? I'm a guest on your show, but I'm here.
Nah, I was ready to get it going, but to show you though, do you want to speak first? Or do you want to speak last? And how long you want the speeches to be? I think I need like 2 or 3 speeches. That's it.
Up to you. I'm here. Whatever you want. I'm willing to suffice to that. So let's get it.
Okay. 5-minute speech.
Yep, that's cool.
You want me to go first, or you go first?
You can start off. Well, we doing 3 topics, right? We going in what order?
We're going 3 topics. What are 3 topics?
You said I believe it was Pan-Africanism, immigration, and birthright citizenship.
Yeah, I'm put all 3 of those arguments together. It makes sense to you.
Bet.
I'm just gonna set the timer right here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we stick to the punctuality. You know what I mean? That way it's gonna go off the tracks right here. 5 minutes. So right here in this 5 minutes, man, all I must make is 3 arguments. Our first argument, which I've already went over, but he wasn't here yet. First argument is about birthright citizenship in this country, especially when it comes to the law, is structured by the Black American experience. From the Dred Scott decision that decided that the word citizen was never intended for people of African descent. That's very important. It's literally written within the code of law, but also talks about how Black people were never intended to be for the word citizen. What happened was, in the 14th Amendment was passed, the 14th Amendment overturned the Dred Scott decision that said that any individual that's naturalized in America is what they call a birthright citizen. My point to you and all the rest of the FBA gangsters is that when we start talking about birthright citizenship in this country, it is always already about Black people. Right now, they're talking about it in conversation to immigration. What we know in individuals that understand the law is that the law sets precedents. If you're able to overturn a particular law, that law and what precedent it sets also becomes overturned. So when we start talking about Donald Trump being able to sign over an initiative to overturn birthright citizenship, my argument is that is going to have an impact on the political, social, economic reality of Black people, because that particular law is what literally birthed our citizenship into faction. Number two argument is that even if you believe that you don't care about, you feel me, the Black immigrants, the Haitians, you feel me, the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans, even if you say you don't care about them, right? We know that them are always in proximity to us and how we live. We know that whether you live in LA, Houston, New York, Chicago, Miami, Black communities are always in proximity to the immigrant communities. My argument is that we understand this, and it's the reason why it's important, is that these policing and the surveillance and the targeting always spills over into the Black community. Always spills over into the Black community. So while there are surveillance in, you feel me, the Dominican community or surveillance in the Haitian community, that surveillance also has an impact on how we live in proximity to who they surveillance and who they targeting. That is two reasons why I'm telling you for sure, and when win this argument, win this debate single-handedly, is that these is the reasons why Black people should also care about what's going on, specifically when it comes to birthright citizenship and when it comes to mass deportation. The third thing is, to me, the most obvious thing, and the reason why I know, but it's like, when you respond, make sure you respond to the three arguments I'm saying, you feel me? Because you want me to go first. I mean, you definitely ready to respond. So the whataboutisms ain't gonna get you nowhere in this argument. You see what I'm saying? The third reason, when Donald Trump talks about deporting the enemy within, when he talks about starting next with the homegrown criminals, everybody in the foundation of Black Americans, can y'all acknowledge to me, right, that the people that are most likely to find themselves criminal, Black people, the most people to find themselves convicted as a punishment of crime, Black people. So when Donald Trump says that he's going to start now with the enemy within, or go next, you feel me, with the homegrown criminals, why would our Black asses not think that we are not next in line? Showing you that when it comes to deportation, birthright citizenship, or even the policing, Black people should care about this. You see what I'm saying? Right now, this is when I pop my shit a little bit. I already do this. You feel me? Right now, I got 1 minute and 45 seconds left. Now, I just want to point out the reason why this man about to get his ass intellectually busted on is because he came to my comments, came to my mentions, you feel me, and started doing all this woofing. And what I know is that anytime when the FBA dudes throw a little pepper with my shit, I come and none of them come. You feel me? Where y'all at? See this dude right here? He don't even want to show his face. he don't even want to show his face for this ass whipping. He don't even want you to hear him, because he know that when he go back to the FBA gang and say, God damn, you let little old Lily whoop your ass like that, you're gonna be like, hey man, it wasn't me. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about, I'm such a monster to these dudes, they don't even want to show their face with me. You feel me? They don't want to show their face with me. Hey, these white folks got something called the NATO agreement, the North Atlantic Trade Agreement, right? It's about how white European countries, along with Canada and America, are able to engage in international relations that acknowledges their kinship, that allows them to fuck over African nations and Black Americans. So when he says that we only should focus on ourselves, think about how white Europeans, when Russia fucking over Ukrainians, they made sure the Ukrainians came over here. You feel me? When white South Africans fucked up in South Africa, white folks make sure they can come in here. So this show you that Pan-Europeanism is always already a thing. And then these dudes right here, the FBA dudes, they have to either A, say they believe what the foundational founding fathers believe in, or acknowledge the founding fathers never intended for their Black ass to be a part of the foundation, just like those justices did for a Dred Scott decision when it came to citizenship. My time.
That was pretty thoughtful of you, bro.
Let's address birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship. The Dred Scott case. I believe that was of the slave who lived in a free state, and he argued, "Why am I not a free man if I'm living in a free state?" And I believe the judge struck that down, and he was not granted his citizenship. That was later ratified in the actual Civil Rights Act that they passed. So, correct, we were not granted our citizenship. We were not granted rights or anything like that up until the point that it was ratified through the Civil Rights Act. So you're correct on that. But I also might address that birthright citizenship was for descendants of slaves. That wasn't for people who were coming to America for tourism, whether that was just traveling, whatever it may be. There was a loophole that was created to where anybody who came to America now could claim birthright citizenship as long as they had a child on U.S. soil. So hypothetically speaking, we could have somebody who could be a terrorist in another country, somehow get through customs, immigration, make it into our soil, have a child here, and then all of a sudden that child has citizenship, but that parent doesn't. And that parent could easily move back to their homeland, but yet their child now has dual citizenship. But we can't go to any other country and do that, where Americans have children abroad and all of a sudden our children are granted birthright citizenship. That's not even a thing. So I just think that's not, it hasn't benefited Black Americans. It does. I don't think it needs to be revoked, but it does need to be revised. It needs to be specific language in that specific amendment, because it was for foundational Black Americans. It was for people who were direct descendants of slaves. It was not for people who wanted to come from Asia, Europe, South America, Africa. It wasn't for none of that. So I do agree with you that birthright citizenship did give us our rights, which we did not have, but also there's a loophole there that has been exploited by damn near every other demographic, and it's not benefiting us in no way. So I actually hope that does get challenged in the court. Secondly, your second argument was immigration. You mentioned that, most of us live in inner cities, somewhere like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, whatever you want to consider most of our major cities. And yes, there is a lot of foundational Black Americans who for the longest have occupied those cities. And look at what they look like now. Look at Los Angeles right now. Los Angeles is a sanctuary city. You go to Los Angeles, Black people are outnumbered to Hispanics, 10-1, 10-2. The Asian population is growing. There's more Arabs coming over here. There's a bunch of people that's coming over here to America that is displacing Black Americans, foundational Black Americans at that. So this whole idea of immigration and how it doesn't impact us, I would argue that it directly impacts us. And not only that, you say that immigration is a Black American problem. I don't really believe it is. I believe it's a problem for Black America, but it's not a problem that we should be fighting for directly. And if you look at every immigration act that's been made in the United States, not one of them, not literally even one of them, have anything to do with Black Americans. From the first immigrants that came over around the 1820s, which was the Irish and all of those. And then later on, there was more people who came from the same area. But I think it was more South, like Italians and the Spaniards and all of them, into modern day, which was post-civil rights. And that was the Asians, the Africans, the Hispanics. They've been coming to take over, bro. And I got every single immigration act that was ever even drafted, and not one of them mentioned anything about Black Americans. Not one of them was created for Black Americans. Not one of them addressed anything that has to do with Black Americans. Keep me updated on the time, by the way.
20 seconds.
Bet. From 2021 to 2024, there was approximately 2.4 million immigrants coming in per year under Biden administration, which was over 8 million immigrants that came into America, whether that's legally or illegally, in America over the last 3 years. And you telling me that doesn't affect Black Americans? I don't know. But I'll stop right there because I know I just hit my time.
Yeah, I only need a second speech right here, and you know what I'm saying, we starting right here, man.
Yep. Go ahead.
For y'all that's watching this, what should have became obvious to y'all is that when people allocate their time to certain shit, it tell you what they care about. This man and what he showed right here, most of FBA, they care more about opposing other black people in this country than they caring about their own people. Now, it's a reason why I said I only made 3 arguments. The third argument I made should have been the first argument he got to that he didn't get to at all. Now, I know he lost. Now, when I told y'all that Donald Trump said he's going to start deporting the enemy within, he's going to start with the homegrown criminals. It's the reason why Mr. FBA didn't touch that, because not only did he know he would have, it was going to be an instant loss in this debate. It also showed y'all that they care more about opposing black people in diaspora than they care about really loving black people in this country. Now, he started making some claims about how the 14th Amendment was a civil rights act. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. The Civil Rights Acts came in the 1950s at the earliest. The 14th Amendment came from the late 1800s, 1865. So it showed you that I don't know what part of the library FBA is in, but they're on the wrong side. You feel me? Second argument he made. So you point out there are loopholes and that the 14th Amendment was supposed to only be made for Black foundational Americans, but you're forgetting about something that's very important to American law, the concept of equal protection under law. Now, this whole idea that the FBA has about we should only care about foundational Black Americans and this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. For y'all that's watching, give you a history lesson. Ellis Island is a part of New York City where it is championed in our classrooms because the Europeans believe the other Europeans always already have the right to come here, you feel me, and literally benefit from the American dream. Now, recognize that when Donald Trump or FBA start talking about people not being born here, they never talking about the Ukrainians. They ain't talking about them Italians. They ain't talking about them Germans. They usually had that type of nastiness towards somebody that looked like them. And what I know is that if you line up a Black American, a Haitian, a Nigerian, a Somalian, and you say, hey, so you think white supremacy is going to treat y'all different because your ethnicity, your national identity? No. No. Burkina Faso, or if you're in America, it don't matter. You don't get to control your resources. So what does it mean for you to say, I'm a foundational Black American? It don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing, especially when he's already agreed to me that the 2 laws about birthright citizenship is structured by the Black experience. There's no way for him to win this argument. No way for him to win this debate. Get into this right here, right? Settlers. White settlers are always able to come to America and benefit from birthright citizenship. It's the reason why Melania Trump and all of the foreign women that the Republicans always, married to, they never had an energy with. This also brings on the point. How come you FBA guys never had this energy towards the white supremacists? How come on Twitter it seems like FBA has more smoke for people within diaspora or people that y'all see as tethers? How come I got more smoke for them than y'all got for the actual white supremacists? Is it the tethers locking up niggas? No. Is it the tethers making sure niggas get, lack of access to education? No. Is it the tethers making sure that we don't get access to healthcare? No. But for somehow, if you listen to FBA, you would swear up and down that we should be blaming the immigrant from Barbados. You feel me? That's what we should have our beef with. That's what FBA had y'all thinking. And that's how I know they lost in the sauce. That's why I know, man. When it comes to Pan-Africanism or the African diaspora, the reason I know it matters something is because NATO is the agreement that white folks have amongst themselves to make sure they always got each other's back. Niggas like FBA, I believe they are manufactured by the FBI or the CIA. That's why they say FBA, because it's like FBI, right? They love to manufacture division and dissent amongst our communities. It's the reason why Malcolm X and Kwame Nkrumah and Fidel Castro was literally wiped out by people that look like us, because you got individuals like this. I'm the most important slave person because my plantation in America. I'm the most important nigga because my master was American. When I hear FBA, that's what I hear. A bunch of niggas identifying with a foundation that don't identify with them. Matter of fact, I'm a win any FBA nigga. The foundation of America is structured by anti-blackness. Education is elevation. This right here it's a dub. It's a reason why this man wanted to put his face on the camera, because he knew that his face would be attached to his bad arguments he making. He didn't want to see that. He didn't want to see that. I respect you for coming. You feel me? But disrespectfully, it's done. It's a dub. You feel me? You ain't even respond to. It's like, I made 3 arguments. You conceded one of them. The other one you tried to disagree, and one of them you didn't get to. The point of me even saying I got 3 arguments was for you to get to them. You didn't even answer the arguments. The people watching this in debate, when you say you're going second and you're giving a rebuttal, you have to respond to your opponent's arguments. Not a bunch of whataboutisms. No.
Where we at in your time? Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the reason why I didn't address the third one is because I was trying to respect the time. You gave me 5 minutes, so I just wanted to shut it down there. But let's address that third argument about the idea of if the police are coming to the communities looking for immigrants, how that can directly impact Black Americans, and why we should be putting ourselves on the front line to shield any type of discrimination to any immigrant group, whether that's an African, whether that's a Latino, whether that's an Asian, whatever it may be. We shouldn't do that, first and foremost. As far as stop and frisk, that's already been a thing. We've been subjected to that. That's nothing new for us. As far as we've seen plenty of times when the police come to the hood, they come in there for one person, end up grabbing up everybody. That's not nothing new for us. We've been subjected to those type of conditions. So why will we now then directly put ourselves on the front line as even more of a target for people who are not even willing to do that for us? That's to address that. You also made an argument that the Civil Rights Act happened in 1960, 1970. That's factually incorrect. The first Civil Rights Act was in 1866. Are you following me? Because you said that there was no, okay, so I want to make sure we're there. And what that did was that granted citizenship to all people that was born in the United States except the Native Americans. It also was meant to protect all the rights of all the new freely Black Americans after the Civil War. And it was the first federal law to define what U.S. citizenship was and give equal protection to all citizens. So you were incorrect when you said that the first Civil Rights Act happened in the 1900s. That's not when it happened. Secondly, I got every immigration act right here. The first one was in 1875. That's what banned Chinese people and women specifically from labor. The second one was in 1882, which is the Chinese Exclusion Act, had nothing to do with foundational Black Americans. The third one was in 1891, which created the Office of Immigration, which expanded some of the things in immigration as far as mental illness, things like that. And then the 20th century, that was in 1907, which further restricted immigration. And then you had Immigration Act of 1917, which created a literacy test for all immigrants that was trying to come into the United States. And it banned a lot of immigration from Asia and the Middle East. And then you got the Immigration Act of 1921, which capped immigration 3%, specifically which favored Western Europeans, which are immigrants. And then you got the Immigration Act of 1924. And that was for Anglo-Saxons, for white people, and it banned immigration from Asia. Again, to further your point you made about white Europeanism and how Pan-Europeanism, how they are very adamant about that, which I agree. And then you have the Immigration Act of 1952, which gave the government the right to deport immigrants that was linked to communism. So that directly impacted Asia. Again, had nothing to do with Black Americans. And then you have the Immigration Act in 1965, which is the Civil Rights Act. Now that significantly impacted Black Americans because what that did is that allowed everybody to start to come over to America, not only from Asia, Latin America, Africa, which directly impacts Black American economically, as far as our voting power. Look at the National Black Caucus right now. It's 44 out of 56 of them are non-FBA. So we talk about what immigration has done to Black Americans. It's crippled us in plenty of different areas. And that's not even including the crime that it brings to our cities. So when we're talking about how it affects the Black community, of course it does. When you have the Venezuelans who moved directly into Chicago and was creating all type of just anarchy going on out there. And yes, it's going to have the feds, the local authority, the CIA into our communities because they're trying to get all these damn terrorists and all these people who got cases all abroad in our country. So yeah, I think that, we got big problems going on. And for Black Americans, I haven't even mentioned Black immigrants. You making this thing like this is about Black immigrants. We got a much bigger problem with white immigrants, Asian immigrants, Arab immigrants, Indian immigrants that are having way a bigger impact on the Black community versus Black immigrants. So this is not about anti-blackness.
Yeah, that show.
Diaspora.
Yeah, we disagree on that. We disagree on that. I appreciate you giving me this historical lesson about your interpretation of different immigration policies. In this debate, though, I made 3 specific arguments, and you giving me what this act did. And what the act did, it doesn't respond to me telling you that birthright citizen shapes a Black experience. You said you agree to that. You also agreeing to that we live in proximity to other, you know what I'm saying, immigrant people. So you being like, well, we were already going through shopping frisk. That's not unique. It's like that doesn't respond to the argument. You feel me? I appreciate you though. I don't think I don't think nothing you said in this last speech was responsive to what I said though. You feel me? You ain't even like you took another 5 minutes and you never got to we're gonna be deporting homegrown criminals next. Now we're gonna be starting with the enemy within. See, my issue with FBA is that y'all never have the smoke for people that's really locking up and killing niggas. Y'all only got it towards tethers, immigrants. You even acknowledging it's not the tethers that's making it where we locked up. The tethers and the Black immigrants, the white immigrants, they ain't the reason why they outlawing Black history. I just happen to be an educator if you can't tell that, right? And what I know is that when it comes to the law that is saying that it is illegal to talk about Black history, you got y'all, the whole FBA, that got the wrong enemy. You got the wrong enemy. And to me, your speech showed me that you so caught up in proving about immigration, you don't care about niggas being policed and being targeted by ICE. You don't care about that. Your literal response was, who cares? But we already being stopped and frisked. That's already been happening. It's like, what are you talking about? So it showed to me that y'all really care more, you feel me, about opposing other people than you is your own people in the community. Hey, right now, currently, Black women have the highest mortality rate when it comes to giving birth. But tethers, though. Come on, man. Like, to me, it just started to become like, forget the ego part, right? Forget even the debate part. It's like it's like humanity. Just humanity, even if you don't care about the other people humanity, your own people humanity. So you care more about opposing people outside of your community and you care about people advocating inside the community. Right now, we see there's also an assault happening on not only different foundational Black museums, foundational Black curriculums, y'all beefing it with the immigrants. The same immigrants that's being targeted in your community in New York, in LA, in Miami, in Houston, in Dallas, in Chicago. It's gonna be the same reason why they now knocking at your door. If Supreme Court, Congress is telling Donald Trump, hey man, you can't deport American citizens, and Donald Trump saying he can, you don't think that apply to Black people? So if we can acknowledge in this country that Black people are disproportionately impacted politically, socially, economically, why don't you believe and understand that when it comes to being deported, especially we started with the enemy within and the homegrown criminals, you don't think that apply to Black people? Just like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this part right here too. Like, if it is true what your FBA homie said, we already being shields for immigrants, huh? Right? And taking this, I made 3 arguments. 2 of the reasons that I said immigration is a Black issue directly has to do with Black people, Black Americans. I made 2 arguments specifically, and both of those arguments impact Black Americans. If birthright citizenship is always already tied to the Black experience, I'm going to overturn that. That ain't got shit to do with immigrants. It got something to do with us. You feel me? If I'm telling you that next he wants to start deporting the enemy within, that ain't got shit to do with immigrants. That start with us. And that's how I know y'all boys be so worked on opposing other people, y'all deny yourself. What? It's like white supremacy taught you. White folks cut off their right foot to spite niggas. FBA, y'all, FBA cut the leg off of an FBA person just to be able to prove fuck them Black immigrants over there. Go on Twitter right now. Go on Twitter right now and look at all the times y'all have seen FBA go at people on social media. They click up with the Confederate flag toting people. A lot of them align themselves with Trump. So how you got more smoke for a Bahamian, a Jamaican than you do the KKK? Y'all will literally link up politically and be like, yeah, but they who cares if they're the Ku Klux Klan? Who cares if they carry Confederate flags? I don't like immigrants and they don't like immigrants, so we should, like, what? Nigga, they don't like you. So what you telling me is you don't like immigrants more than you love yourself. Because there's no way you're politically linking up with the ops, the KKK, to say fuck immigrants. And be clear, I made 3 arguments now. 3 arguments is very clear. The first argument I made was about birthright citizenship and its relationship to Black Americans. He agreed. Like, I only got to run 1 or 3 arguments to be able to prove that immigration is a Black issue. My first argument he agreed with. That birthright citizenship, when we're talking about the 14th Amendment, we're talking about Dred Scott decision, is tied within the Black experience. So at this point, what are we talking about? They want to make us a shield for other communities. Hey, man. Y'all learn, to me, it's like y'all learn so much from the white folks, and you want to mirror what the white folks doing so much, except for when it comes for looking after your own people. When they teach us about the Greeks or the Romans or the Spartans, they doing it because they acknowledge white kinship. They see the value in always acknowledging their kinship amongst the European diaspora. You feel me? They don't teach us that we fucking Romans, but we learn their history, though. They don't teach us we Greeks, but we learn their history, though. The great Malcolm X always asked the question, how can you hate the roots of the tree and not hate the tree? That's the question I would ask the FBA. How can you hate everything that's not foundational Black American and not hate yourself? Or do you believe your love for the great country of America and the red, white, and the blue is going to overcome your hate for anti-Blackness? Because I don't think that's going to happen how it happened. That ain't how it happened. Hey, man, right now, Donald Trump letting white South Africans come into this country because he feel like it is his duty to make sure his fellow person of European descent in this world does not go harm, and that do go harm does not happen without him trying to do something for it. It's like literally, you know. I don't see the white folks arguing with each other about being Moorish, about being Hebrew, about being real Black American, about being real indigenous. But here we is, niggas having identity crises and arguing with each other about our identities because we ain't got no better problems to worry about. We ain't got nothing else to worry about, man. Who give a fuck about healthcare? Who gives a fuck about education? We don't care about that. We don't care about accessibility and resources. You do know you ain't really Black though, right? We've been here. We indigenous Americans. Sometimes I think like, oh, it used to be the Hebrew Israelites that made my ass itch. Now between the Black indigenous, you know what I'm saying, and the FBA, it's like I don't know which one of y'all make my ass itch even more. The niggas that believe that you can't acknowledge that 2 things can be true at the same time. You can't acknowledge that there are Black Indians. Yes, there are indigenous people of African descent. But you saying that we was here first before white people, therefore we're all the real Indians. That's an empirically false claim. It ain't even smart. It ain't even smart. Well, my grandma told me we was Indian. So you think that all people in this country that's Black is really Indian because you read some diary in the 1500 that said that Indians had the same copper skin color? It's just, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I'm a foundational Black American. We gotta stick to, man, listen, man. Like, if you love hip hop, there's no way for you to be real with yourself and not acknowledge the way that Black Caribbeans uniquely contributed to the birthing of hip hop. There's no way for you to take pride in Black American culture without acknowledging the African culture that it retained. Whether you love the drums, whether you love how to flow, there's no way for you to get from this. You see what I'm saying? But somehow, foundational Black Americans, and shit, the goddamn Black Indians that believe that we're all from Turtle Island. Y'all want to like what did y'all learn about African shit that made it where y'all have such a demise and such a, you feel me, oppositional, you know what I'm saying, adversarial relationship to it? That's what I want to know. Like, you know, and then I'm talking about sound. They sound just like the white folks. They're literally, I can tell a lot of people in FBA, y'all watch Fox News. Y'all watch Fox News. Y'all watch Charlie Kirk. Y'all watch them. I know y'all watch them because y'all think being able to put their arguments in blackface make them clever. You think that if you take a white supremacist speaking points about the great replacement theory and immigrants and shit like that, it sounds clever all of a sudden. It don't. It don't. It's not only is it not clever, it's not responsible we're going through. I put the link down there for somehow, and the only person that came on, you know what I'm saying, is his. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about? You feel me? And what I say for, I'm saying, to Nigel specifically, I do appreciate you coming on the live stream, because you is the first out of 10,000 FBA niggas I done challenged to actually step up on there. I do think it speaks volumes, though, that you didn't want to show your face. Feel me? Like, you ain't want to put your identity on. So to me, that was kind of weird. Second thing is that how come how come y'all don't never have any type of way to make your argument using like history? But he tried to give me a little, I got every piece of immigration policy that came before me in X, Y, and Z. And it's like, yeah, you've already conceded that immigration is structured also by this birthright citizenship. You've already agreed to that. Do you have anything to disprove my argument? You don't. Oh, man. Like, man. Why won't you say where your people are from? My people from Bryan, Texas. I'm born and raised in Bryan, Texas. You feel me? I own land in Bryan, Texas. My parents and my grandparents worked the land in Bryan, Texas. We were sold originally, you feel me, from North Carolina. I'm a proud descendant of enslaved African people. Proud descendant of enslaved African people that was birthed and born and raised in Bryan, Texas. So my people worked the land in Bryan, Texas. This how I know the FBA, sometimes y'all boys be devoid of critical thinking because y'all only got these little makeshift speaking points, and when they fall flat on his face, you don't have nothing else to say. Hold on, Nigel. We ain't gonna do that, Nigel. We ain't gonna do that. What you want to say?
All right, baby. There we go. So you mentioned, can you hear me, bro? Let me make sure you can hear me.
Hey, just real fast. Why you want to put your face on the camera, bro? Like right now, like we having a live stream. It's a black man to a black man. Like, is there something that you're saying that you don't feel confident about?
Nah, bro. Nah,
you got a haircut.
Nah. I got a lot of ops in the political space, bro. So my Twitter.
You think you got more ops than me in the political space?
Nah, not even.
You don't. Hold on. So you don't believe FBA is structured enough to be able to protect you from at least showing your face on the internet? I ain't telling you to show me your street you on. I ain't telling you.
It ain't got nothing to do with that.
So hold on. So FBI really about that, or y'all not about that? Because in my mind, if I'm part of an organization, you see in my face. I don't get why you have to have that type of anonymity. Because and I'll tell you why too. Why it's annoying to me. A lot of your FBA guys in the comment section, it's the same shit. You got an alias. You don't have a profile picture. You feel me? If I'm doing how do white folks right now, you coming off as an anonymous cap. Thank you. That's all I was asking. What?
There you go, bro. There you go. Just to go ahead so you can stop the whole, why you ain't on camera and all that.
Fam. Where I'm from, I want to look you in your eyes, man. I want to smell your cologne if I was close to you. You feel me? You already started off with the insults. So at this point now, we might as well go lean into getting in busy.
Let's get to it. You definitely went over your 5 minutes, but let's get to it. So you mentioned the KKK. I'm glad you did that. You said FBA is FBI, CIA, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you identify as a Pan-African?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure you well versed on Marcus Garvey, correct?
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican that came over to the States. I believe he met with an organization called the KKK.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Garvey met with the KKK and hopes to, I guess, collect some funding or some support of getting everybody sent back to Africa, because that was aligned with what the KKK whole ideology was as far as getting black. Right. Okay. So
what's your argument?
So we got a known Pan-African that working directly with the KKK, but you accusing FBA of being a CIA organization?
You think every Pan-Africanist agree with Marcus Garvey?
No. Hey, when I did my homework, Garvey was the one that was put in the rap.
Is your argument that Pan-Africanism equals KKK? I want to be clear. I'm gonna understand your argument. What's your argument? What argument are you making right now?
My argument was, you mentioned that FBA as if we're some type of, working with CIA, FBI, something like that. But it is well documented that Pan-Africans have been working with the KKK.
Yeah, 100 years ago, but I wasn't working with them. What I also would say is that right now we have well documented.
I just want to make sure that we was on the same page with that, right?
We're not on the same page with that. I want to be clear on that. We're not on the same page with that. The argument that you're trying to make is that the Pan-Africanism in 2025 is connected to the KKK. That is a false claim. Right? The argument I'm making to you is that the FBA in 2024 made a lot of pro-Trump claims. That's my argument. I want to be clear. I'm making a literal argument that a lot of FBA guys that I met on TikTok, on Twitter specifically, aligned themselves with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the individual that's been endorsed by the KKK. I'm not speaking hyperbolically. I'm speaking literally, there are people in your camp today, in this day right now, that align themselves with Confederate flag KKK supporters. That's what I'm saying, literally. Not 1920 Marcus Garvey. Listen, man, I don't know Marcus Garvey. I know the founder of your group, though. He got a lot of politics that I would love to just eat alive. So let's be intellectually honest when making arguments.
Got you. So the KKK was founded by what political party?
Democrats.
Okay. I just want to make you said that FBA. You said FBA is aligning themselves with Trump, right? But then you just acknowledge.
Can you make some arguments, bro? Like can you make your arguments?
I'm saying, conscious. You saying stuff. You saying shit, but you kind of jumping loopholes a little bit.
Right now, you're using the same. Right now, when you talk about the KKK and Democrats, it's the same speaking point of literal Republicans being like, hey, but the Democrats start the KKK. Listen, I'm a black independent. I believe that the Republicans and the Democrats are always trying to make niggas dependent. I believe whether you live in a red state or a blue state, they love to lock up and kill niggas at the same rates. When we talking about George Floyd that was killed in a blue city, in a blue town, or we talking about, Ahmaud Arbery that was killed in a red city, a red town. This little bipartisan politics you're saying to me, it's not responsive to the black experience. We know that whether you live in the East Coast or the West Coast or the Midwest, niggas being locked up and killed is very consistent. So you trying to play this little bipartisanship game with me, you're being intellectually dishonest, my brother. Because what we know is that right now, the KKK didn't endorse Kamala Harris. KKK endorsed Donald Trump. So you trying to walk back, you know what I'm saying, to the late 1800s, you're not being real, bro. It's just not being real. It's just not being real. It'd be more likely for me to go to a Republican party and see a Ku Klux Klaner there than me going to a Democratic. And be clear, fuck Democrats and Republicans. Easy. Like, make arguments.
I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page, bro. Because
I want to make sure I would put anything. We're on the same page though, because right now you're being dishonest, bro.
All right, you said that FBA, we align ourselves with white supremacy.
Yes.
Charlie Kirk, whatever it may be.
Yes. Right? Yes. Do you have a response that says that the FBA did not align themselves in 2024 with Trump 2024? That's the argument I'm making. I want to be clear on that. That the argument I'm making is that the FBA aligned themselves with Donald Trump via fuck the immigrants. And I'm saying that y'all care about hating immigrants more than you loving your own people. I want to be clear on this. I'm making the claim that the FBA and the election of 2024 overwhelmingly aligned themselves with the same party that the KKK did.
No.
That's the argument I'm making. I want to be clear.
Yeah, that's not true. The data doesn't support that, bro.
Show me the data. Show me the data disproves it.
Black Americans, if I'm not mistaken, 92%.
No. No. Your organization is FBA. I'm a foundational Black American. I don't bang FBA. No, I'm talking about people. I'm talking about people that have on their Twitter FBA with the American flag. I'm not talking about you trying to claim the entirety of Black Americans being FBA, because you know that's not true. That's you're being dishonest, bro. That's I'm talking about FBA. Hey, fam, everybody don't identify with FBI, bro. You said what?
It's not an organization.
All right.
What's the difference between Black American and foundational Black American? What's the difference? You put one word in front of it.
I'm a Black American that was born and raised here in America that got this right here. I'm telling you right now, I do not agree with none of the ideology of the group known as FBA. If you got FBA, those acronyms in your goddamn bio, I do not identify with that shit. As a matter of fact, I know every nigga where I'm born and raised in Bryan, Texas, do not identify with your political ideology of FBA. So I want to be clear, people watching this. Right now, he's trying to be dishonest and claim the entirety of the 92% that voted against Donald Trump and being like, that's FBA. That's not FBA, bro. I'm talking about FBA. Your organization, your group.
See, no, that's the thing. Y'all trying to make it seem like FBA is some organization. It's not. It's a lineage. Like, you don't have to apply. It's a lineage. You don't have to apply for FBA. Like, that's not. It's not some. You don't get a membership for it. You either are or you're not. You're either a descendant of slaves from America or you're not.
Cap, so, bro.
This idea that
you're not being real, bro.
But that's exactly what it is. Like, what's the difference between FBA and ADOS?
You tell me. It's different fractions. It's no. Hold on. Come back. The FBA is a friend. The people of the FBA left ADOS for disagreements.
It's still the same thing. It's all lineage based.
So you're being dishonest, bro. Right now, you're being dishonest. Right now, you hoping that I don't have enough information on this to be able to call you out on bullshit. What I know, the two fringe groups that refer to themselves as ADOS and FBA, y'all have public disagreements. I'm both. I am both a African descendant of slaves here in America. I'm also a foundational Black American. I don't subscribe to either of your politics. So I'm making a distinction between my identity and my ideology. Right now, I'm saying the FBA is a particular ideology. Those Black women that voted for Kamala Harris would not identify with your ideology. So let's be real. You feel me? Let's be real, bro. Let's be real.
You don't have to subscribe to something to still be a part of something, though. Like, you don't have to.
So am I considered FBA? Nigel, am I FBA?
Yes.
Even though I'm disagreeing with you every day. So I'm FBA, even though I'm telling you I'm not.
That's the thing. You are FBA. Even though you don't agree with majority of the ideology that the FBA is pushing, you're still an FBA.
But you are acknowledging that there's an ideology that FBA pushes, correct?
But every group has an ideology. So would you not consider would you not consider the KKK as a part of the white structure, and they have their own separate ideology, even though it doesn't represent all white people?
Hey, this I know you're being dishonest. The KKK does not allow for any white person to be on there, especially if you disagree with their ideology. The KKK is not going to let Rainbow Coalition join a movement just because they're white. You have to agree with the ideology to make it into the group. Like this, you're being so not real, bro. It's almost making I don't want to have a conversation. Well, you're not being real.
No. That's what I was trying to get you to understand. That FBA is not a group. FBA is not a group.
It's an ideology, my boy. It's you agreeing with me. You say conscious, even though you don't agree with the ideology. You still love the lineage. You're making the distinction between the ideology and the lineage. I'm making an indictment towards the lineage and say that you niggas ideologically care more about saying fuck Black immigrants more than you love Black Americans. Simple argument.
Black immigrants one time in this conversation,
fam. This whole entire live stream is about immigration. Matter of fact, your last speech.
You understand that immigration is not just Black immigrants, right? You understand that it's not Black immigrants. There's more than just Black immigrants, right?
I'm talking about. I'm centering this conversation. Black immigrants, the Black experience. That's what I want to be clear on. That I'm centering. I'm not talking about Ukrainians. I'm not talking about Israelis.
Why not? Because those are immigrants, bro, and it affects.
I'm talking about Black people, bro. And I'm acknowledging this too. White people treat white immigrants a lot different than they treat the black ones. As a matter of fact, right now, while Donald Trump is trying to say that all immigrants are bad, he's openly allowing for white South African immigrants to come into America. So even it needs to be acknowledging that white people that's born and raised in America still view the kinship of other Europeans throughout the world. So y'all FBA dudes want to play games. Meanwhile, we're getting slaughtered throughout the world. Throughout the world.
So again, bro, I think you just kind of summarized everything, right? You are FBA, whether you identify with it or not. There's 50,
just like the white man. Whether you want to be it or not, your name is Kunta.
Bro, either you're from the lineage or you're not. Like, we're not making exceptions here.
Man, listen,
even though
man,
me and you don't agree, we don't.
My name is not Toby, bro. My name not Toby, man. My name is not Toby. In this instance, is Kunta Kinte, and you trying to tell me what my name is, bro? You acting just like a white man. I'm telling you, I don't fuck with your identity or your ideology, and you telling me this. Even if you like, no, nigga, no. Listen, bro. I was born before the ideology of FBA came. So my existence, my perspective, my understanding of being black, it predates your whole ideology of FBA. This FBA shit is some new shit. You see what I'm saying? It's some new shit. It's some shit that's FBA ideology is younger than Twitter.
Bro, do you understand that FBA, all it essentially is doing, you understand what it's doing, right? The whole concept of FBA.
I'm sure that you're going to tell me some like some reconfigurated narrative that tries to claim that the FBA goes back to the slave boat or something, but it's like I disagree. The whole point of us having this debate right now is for me to outline the various ways we disagree. Like, I don't think you really care about niggas being deported. You care more about immigrants being deported. You feel me? You still have not said nothing about niggas being deported. Donald Trump said he gonna start with the enemy within. He gonna start deporting homegrown criminals. You don't care about that. You care. What about the other immigrants?
Is that only only black Americans be affected by that, or would every criminal in the system be affected by that?
Are you all out? Like, I'm talking about black people, bro. Like, why do you have to bring up everybody? I'm talking about black people, bro. You say you don't care about black people. Right now, I'm talking about black Americans. Why do I have to extrapolate?
I'm saying you're making arguments as if it will only directly impact the black community.
I'm making arguments to say that it will especially impact the black community based off of how criminality is mapped onto our bodies. Well, that black people are 3 to 5 times more likely to find themselves convicted of a crime. So if Donald Trump says he's going to start next with the homegrown criminals, yes, nigga, I'm saying that we are going to be disproportionately impacted by being criminal and therefore being deported. It's just a straight line of logic. Who's most likely to find themselves convicted of a crime? Black people. Okay, so when he says he's going to start with the homegrown criminals now, how many black people do you think is impacted in that? You think that if you point out, well, some white people are going to be just like, does that matter? Does that negate how many black folks going to be like taken away? I don't think it does.
So you're saying that immigration as a whole is directly going to impact black Americans, specifically if Trump decides that he's going to deport homegrown Americans to foreign countries and jails and prisons?
Yeah, that was my third argument. My first argument was him overturning birthright citizenship is the direct line impact to black people because that's how we get our citizenship. It's through birthright citizenship. So if Donald Trump is going to overturn it, and he's going to thinking about Latino people or whatever people are talking about, I'm saying it's going to have an impact towards us. Just like you acknowledged in your speech that there were other people that was able to take advantage of birthright citizenship. It's like, yeah. White folks had no issue when white people was coming from Europe to go to Ellis Island. They have an issue, though, when you come from Central and South America. My point in bringing it up is that equal protection under law means there's going to be different ways the law becomes applicable to different relationships or different experiences. It does not negate, though, that black people will be disproportionately impacted by it. It just doesn't.
I'm trying to see how you correlating that birthright citizenship is directly going to impact black Americans when it was created for black Americans, but it's been used for immigrants to come over here and have anchor babies. We're not immigrants, so how would it directly impact us?
When the law is overturned,
you saying that if he rescinds birthright citizenship, therefore that's going to make every black American now an immigrant? Like, what are you saying? Like, what would that do? Like, how would that work?
I'm glad you asked a great question. What I'm saying is that black people having our citizenship legally codified by the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship, that if he overturns that and the courts agree with it, there are going to be residual impacts on the Black community. At that point, us being immigrants or not being immigrants becomes persona non grata. It doesn't matter anymore. Now it only becomes under his interpretation of the law, what can he do? Right now, I'm sure you don't know this, but right now he's also talking about Donald Trump talking about suspending habeas corpus, meaning I can take your ass to jail for whatever reason, no due process. What I'm telling you is that based off the history of Black people, that we are going to be the most victim, most criminal, most desperate, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to how these things operate. I want to be clear on that. I'm saying that when you reverse precedents or laws, unless that law is going to say accept Black Americans, we are going to be impacted by it.
Well, I could argue that the 14th Amendment needs to be ratified in the sense that there needs to be specific language that it was intended for a specific group of people, because it wasn't intended for everyone. It was
so do you know that equal protection under law is a cornerstone in this country that says that if there's a law in this country, whether you're Black, white, poor, or rich, you have to abide by this law and or be protected by this law. You understand that, right?
Correct.
So when you say that they have to go back and ratify the law, what does it mean and say it has to go to a specific group if you're acknowledging that constitutionally it is equal protection under law?
Well, the main argument about the actual amendment is the subject to. That's the jurisdiction of. That's the main argument. So people are trying to, is that not what they're arguing in the courts? That's where the loophole was created?
Instead not arguing about a loophole.
That's the whole argument for rescinding birthright citizenship. That's what they're trying to argue now.
I see where it's going.
And they've been doing that for a while. They've been trying to argue that little language in the amendment that says subject to jurisdiction of, right, which then allowed immigrants to come over here, whether that was through visas, sponsorships, programs, whatever it is, have children on American soil, and all of a sudden those are American citizens. So again, birthright citizenship was created for the descendants of slaves specifically. Now, has other people been able to benefit from that? Yes. Has it become a problem for the Black community? Absolutely. Because I believe just up until February 2025 was the first month in, I believe, 16 months in the US that we had more American-born babies born than foreign-born. So literally all of last year and maybe a few more months, 16 months straight, there was more foreign-born babies in America than American-born babies. And you telling me that does not affect the Black community?
I'm telling you that you've bought in to a way of viewing this country through the eyes of white people, and you don't acknowledge that ever since white people have been in this country, it's been more foreign-born babies than native babies. And now one of us indigenous. You're not indigenous to this country. I'm not indigenous to this country. Nah, that's what we're talking about. You didn't acknowledge the
we're indigenous to the nation. We're indigenous to the nation, though.
Yes, within his nation. Within his nation. Within his nation. Put like this.
That's the whole concept of foundational Black American, right there.
Like this now, fam. But it's like y'all framework of foundational Black American is so devoid that it doesn't acknowledge how people like Donald Trump is a third generation, second generation, you feel me, European man. Y'all allow for second, third generation Europeans to claim American identity with no issue at all. But when it comes to Black people doing it, they tethers. You feel me? So the question becomes how far we got to go back for a person not to be considered a tether, but also this like how come you ain't got this smoke towards Donald Trump?
You understand?
White folks are like, so for the Black folks watching this, when we start telling white people about their people owning slaves, how many white people love to point out that their people didn't own slaves? They were just German immigrants. They were French immigrants. They were Italian immigrants. And think about how every time you hear about the notion of birthright citizenship, how it's not directed towards those good old second, third generation Europeans that love to tell you about how their parents were immigrants. Or think about it like this. When y'all up there in Detroit, or you feel me, you in New York or you in Maine, how come our news don't crystallize and don't criminalize the white Canadians the way they do them brown folks down south of the border? Nigel and FBA would never, ever, ever be real and acknowledge how racially charged immigration in this country has always been. That's the reason why they try to say, well, if white folks say fuck they immigrants, then Black folks say that too. It's like, well, white immigrants get way more privilege than the Black ones get.
So I appreciate you, bro, for giving me this opportunity to come up here respectfully.
Appreciate it, definitely.
Yeah,
we need to have more conversations. Niggas could have shot it and killed it, and we had a conversation. Appreciate it, definitely.
For sure. Again, I believe that Black Americans, I don't think we have a problem with any immigrant group, specifically Black immigrants. And the quote unquote term tether is a behavior. That's not a group of people. So yeah, there are a lot of people who have infiltrated our communities that look like us, that don't represent us. All skin folk ain't kin folk, right?
Sure.
And we're now starting to draw the line and saying, hey, we're going to put Black Americans first before we put anybody else, rightfully so. And that's not to say we don't care about Black immigrants, Caribbeans, Africans, whatever it may be. We're just saying that we care about ourselves first, and we need to prioritize our communities before we can prioritize anybody else. So as far as what Black Americans are doing, foundational Black Americans, however you want to identify us, the movement is rolling and it ain't gonna stop, bro. And again, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to come up here and speak. We could have got a little bit more in depth into things, but like I said, I ain't really trying to get into all that. But as far as Trump, birthright citizenship, Black Americans, white Americans, anti-immigration, that's what got us to this point right now, is that we haven't been delineating, that we've allowed other people to come in and is he still here? We've allowed other people to come in and infiltrate our systems and our communities. And it's about time that, we draw that line, bro. And we don't got nothing against any other ethnic group, nobody in the diaspora, but if they gonna disrespect us, we're gonna fight fire with fire at the end of the day. So I don't believe immigration is a Black people fight. It's not something that we should be putting ourselves on the front line for. Whether that's a moral argument or an ethical argument, you can decide. For the longest, we have put ourselves on the front line for other ethnic groups, other minority groups, whether that's the coalition of people of color, which I think that's a fallacy. I think white people utilize that people of color to kind of morph us into this whole little melting pot, and it shouldn't be that way. For specifically the Asian community, how much they've taken away from the Black community, how they've been able to open up stores in our community, get all these type of grants and whatever it may be. We can reference toward the Japanese receiving their reparations for being put in camps, how Black Americans have got no reparations for building the country, because we are foundational to this country and we are indigenous to this nation, because this country was not founded until 1776, which we already have been here, and you've even acknowledged that. So the whole term of foundational Black.
That's gonna be a disagree though, bro. Like that's what we call the indigenous erasure, and it makes it presupposes that this country didn't start.
I say indigenous to this nation. I said nation.
That's still like this nation borrowed its constitution from the Iroquois nation, and the idea that this nation wasn't one before is just like it is one that's about settler colonialism. You feel me? And about how settlers get to literally erase indigenous people of this land to try to claim they are. That's the reason why I reject the idea that Black people are indigenous to this country, because we're not. We're descendants of African people.
When I say indigenous to this nation, the United States was established in 1776, correct?
No. That is when the colonial project, tried to actualize itself. The colonial project in America started way before 1776. That's the reason why I'm rejecting your notion, bro. I'm rejecting your notion because the project in America started way before. Listen, when you read the Declaration of Independence, it is a reason why the settlers wrote to King George saying that you have turned the savages against us, because they already had an agreement to quote unquote start this colony.
I'm talking about the United States of America, 1776.
I understand you're talking about the United States of America.
Right.
What I'm telling you is that the United States federal America sits on dead bodies, dead indigenous bodies. I'm telling you that the way they declared the independence was always made possible through genocide of Native Americans. What I'm telling you is that no matter how you want to play games about establishment, about the nation, I'm telling you that nation was made possible through the genocide of actual people that's indigenous to this country. That's what I'm saying. So trying to say, but we started in 1770s. No, bro. We're not indigenous to this land, bro. We're not.
I said this country.
Hold on, real fast. I'll shut up then. The Dred Scott decision, a decision that you acknowledge, you feel me, had value, is acknowledging Dred Scott as a person of African descent. African descent in 1861. Almost 100 years after 1776.
Correct.
Proving to you that even when you want to make this claim and say we are indigenous here, according to who? Not according to the foundation, we're not. Yeah. So the Dred Scott decision says, oh, actually, we do agree the Constitution is foundational to the country. We agree with that, right?
Correct.
And we acknowledging that the word citizen and the word black people was never intended and or supposed to be accounted for within the Constitution. We understand it, right?
Correct.
So now you see how why I have a beef with foundational Americans. We're acknowledging that from a political, social, economic, and legal standpoint, the foundation of America never fucked with black people. The Constitution wasn't written for us. We were written into it. The 14th Amendment is trying to make up for the ways in which the foundation of America is anti-black. So my beef with FBA is that y'all bang and want to represent and want to champion and want to be proud of the foundation of America. The foundation of America ain't never fucked with us.
I don't think that's what it is, bro. I think you're forgetting the fact that the whole point of us delineating is in pursuit of us receiving our reparations. And the only way we were going to get to any type of reparations is that we can fully identify and document exactly where we came from, if we were a part of the slave trade, if our ancestors were subjected to those conditions, which they were. And I will ask you this, when you say Black Americans are not indigenous to America, which we are, where else can you find our ethnic group across the world? Where else can you find Black Americans across the world? I'm talking about our specific ethnic group, which is African, European, and indigenous. Where else can you find us? You can't find us nowhere else, because we were created through integration, meaning Africans, Europeans, and natives. So that's who we are. We're not just full-blooded African. That's not who we are. So even if you did your DNA right now,
man.
Right.
Bro. Like in order for me to prove my point, I don't have to go down that rabbit hole with you on that. We've already acknowledged that regardless of how much of something we was, Dred Scott was seen as purely being an African descendant of Africa. So whether we want to acknowledge that he had native blood or European blood, that's fine. That's fine. That's good and all dandy. It does not negate how the law relates to him. See what I'm saying? Right now, I'm making an argument about the law and how the law positions Black people. And what I'm saying is that when it comes to the law and birthright citizenship, Black people will always be positioned a particular way. You want to play the genealogy game, it doesn't get us anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have to bring up the one drop rule. I can just literally sit with, hey, man, though that little FYI, there's some shit you can say from when you're on the other side of YouTube, when you're debating with the Hebrew Israelite, Abo. I don't care about that. What I know is that white supremacy doesn't care about our ethnic, national differences. They don't care about the linguistic differences. You feel me? When we came over to the boat, you didn't give a damn that you was from Central Africa and you was from West Africa. You spoke that like that. To me, it's like that. To me, it becomes like inconsequential. Like, what are we like? What is the point of this? What's the purpose?
I told you what the purpose is, bro. We trying to get our reparations. So
like for me, it's like, so the only way we can get our reparations is by being divisive towards other groups. Because to me, it's what it comes out to me as FBA. Because I believe reparations is good. I believe we should get our reparations. I believe we should get our reparations a long time ago. But I don't have to come at people about being tethers or come at people about being not really from here or talk about immigrants in order for me to get my.
You understand that most of them are not for reparations, right?
Nah, not the people I've met, bro. I have a degree in African American studies, and I do a lot of work. I do a lot of work with people from the Caribbean, a lot of work with people from Africa. And I have yet to meet one of them that I work with that say reparations is bad.
Bro, that's the whole reason why the movement is pushing the way it is because at one point we thought we had some type of coalition between everybody in the diaspora. But as we started to have these conversations and we realizing that most of them don't even really know the history of America as far as what our people been through and what we've been subjected to and how the fight that we fought even allowed them to get to where they're at now as far as coming to America. And then when they get here, they go against our best interests. So for instance, the Black Caucus, 44 out of 56 of them are non-FBA. Now you tell me if Black Americans can go move to an African country, right? Let's say we move to Nigeria, Ghana, whatever, and then we somehow take over their whole like establishment, they would never allow that to happen. But we've somehow, in this coalition that we created, have allowed people to come to our country and get in positions to where they can strike down things that could benefit Black Americans. And their whole argument is, well, for instance, Byron Daniels, he's a Republican. He went on live TV and said, well, my father is from Jamaica and my mother is from like Barbados, and I'm not for reparations because I wasn't a descendant of slaves. So we have a major problem going on, Conscious. And I think you should be fighting for this too. Like you should be fighting for this.
Nah, fam. I think it's, bro, you gotta have nuance, bro. You gotta have nuance, bro. Within the Black community, it's suckers, it's sellouts, it's Uncle Toms, it's coons. You acknowledging to me that within the international community, it's sellouts, it's suckers, and it's coons. That's not to me a way I'm gonna view that whole community, bro. I know it's suckers within the Black community. I know that it's Black people within this community and our community. It don't mean no good for us. You feel me? It don't mean no good for everywhere else. I ain't gonna say because just a couple of us here, they don't mean they don't give a damn. To me, it's like that's what I'm trying to get you to think about, bro. It's thinking about how can we generalize an entire group because some motherfuckers in there don't agree with us. I've met more Caribbean people that fuck with the diaspora of Black people than I have that don't. You feel me? And then even this, what they do don't dictate my principles, bro. Don't dictate my humanity. You see what I'm saying?
Of course,
I know that we can get, listen, when niggas don't get reparations, it's not because some non-Black Americans disagree with us. The same way when an immigrant, quote unquote, steals a Black person's job, quote unquote, steals, that's not what's happening. Language is important. This person was given something, they received it. You're using the language and rhetoric of taking when it was something that was received. Hey, in America right now, that we feel like there are a lot of Mexican, Latino people taking over jobs, right? Why do we have more beef with the person that took the job than the person that gave it to them? In this instance, when it comes to reparations. So we got more people that got beef with other non-Black Americans that say we don't want it, then you actually do people that give it to them. Them non-Black Americans ain't codified no law. And being real with you, bro, I rock with the CDC in different ways, but ain't no nigga I ever been to start telling me about how the CDC did something for them or didn't do something for them, or CDC and it made it whatever do something. Like it didn't do that. Hey, let me see real fast. Hey, Bear Grizzle, you next on the chat and get that ass whooped. You next on the chat, Bear Grizzle. Don't talk about a bit about it, Barry. Come, you next, Barry. You next. Come on with it now. You know what I'm saying? Nigel cool. I'm in the mood to bust some ass today. So come on with it, buddy. Come on.
Yeah, bro. So again, man, I appreciate this opportunity for real, because it's my first time really going into a debate. You know, I definitely did my background on you. I seen you as, you know, you did your thing. You definitely, you know, I respect that. But I think you're forgetting that we don't label everybody that's from Africa or the Caribbean as a tether. That's not how it works, bro.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Like that right. I would say I agree with you because it doesn't have like that doesn't really have any bearing on my points that I've made. So whether tether means this or means an identity, that means me no difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm saying that's not what it is. We're not online looking for anybody who is foreign born and say, oh my gosh, you're tether. Tether is a behavior. So you could be foreign born.
I appreciate you. I appreciate the lesson. I appreciate the lesson.
Yeah, you could be foreign born. Like for instance, we have plenty of people now. I mean, think what time we're living in now. we have more Black immigrants and Black Caribbeans, Africans moving to America, right? Living in proximity with Black Americans. So more than likely, there will be some integrating going on. For instance, Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle was half FBA, half African. I believe his mom was FBA and his dad was East African. So we have plenty of people who have been from the diaspora who's came to America and actually pay homage to the lineage and the culture. And not one person would ever mention Nipsey as a tether. It would never happen because he did too much for the Black community. He actually invested into the Black community. But when we got people who come over here, like Myron Gaines, right? Like Myron Gaines, who's a Sudanese immigrant, a Sudanese anchor baby at that. And he's aligning himself with white supremacy. He's aligning himself with the alt-right, far-right type of movement. We going against those kind of people. You understand what I'm saying? Like we in the field with people who going against anything that's anti-Black American, whether we agree with your politics or not. So I think you got to also acknowledge that.
Yeah, I'm late for a meeting. I'm gonna get back with you. Apologies, definitely. For people watching this or whatever, the next time I go live, I'm gonna get into the history of Liberia. I can tell that when people from, you know what I'm saying, we don't talk enough about what happened in Liberia. So I'm beginning. Sorry, I apologize, y'all. But yeah, so when we get into the colonial project of Liberia, we're gonna see that there were a bunch of quote unquote Black Americans and Black Caribbeans. White folks gave them niggas guns and sent them on a boat and said, "Go make you a country." Where they landed on was a country called Liberia. Till this day, Liberia is in civil war because of the different ways that what you said, if Black people went to this and it wouldn't go for, it's like, hey, unfortunately, there have been people that come from the Americas that went over to Africa that look like you and I that have engaged in colonialization or colonialism, whatever you want to call it. And what I'm saying is that it's wrong in every instance. You feel me? So I want to be clear. That's not the argument I'm making. The argument I'm making is that you can care about Black immigration or understand immigration being a Black issue without it being something that you're making it not. Last thing I'll say, and I gotta go. When it comes to the birthright citizenship, the entire idea within the law is structured by the Black experience. Just like Donald Trump in line talking about he ain't gonna do shit to the legal migrants, legal immigrants, and he deported them. Anytime he's saying, well, I'm gonna overturn this law, so I'm gonna be towards the white people, or only be towards the Latinos, that's a lie. Just like he lied about saying he ain't no prior to 25. Just like he lied and said it will only be the illegal ones. That's a lie. He's saying it's not going to be towards the Black people. What are you going to do? And Black people watching this, do we think that we have enough space and place to play and think about whether he real or not? We don't. I'm answering the question. We don't have that time.